Second, language acquisition research and language education. Now, how does second language acquisition research relate to second language education in formal contexts? Second language research, if we would like to be reminded, it has been connected to language teaching initially. It has always been seen as in the context of language teaching in formal contexts, and this has been what has triggered research in second language. However, lately, second language acquisition has become a field unto its own right, and it has become autonomous in terms of identifying different procedures which might or might not be applicable in a formal context. So people now are also interested in first language acquisition, learning in natural settings, etc. However, having said that, we still need, as teachers, to learn from the second language acquisition research. We still need to understand, even when the research is conducted in a natural context, to understand or to know about more effective ways of teaching our students. So, continuously, even when the field became autonomous, there have been strands of research which have been trying to address the issue of teaching a second language in classrooms. So, for instance, from this natural approach to language pedagogy, from the hypothesis of Gratian, how the comprehensible input in natural settings allows the learners to actually learn the language, this led to this communicative pedagogy or the teaching methodology. It has led also to, for instance, teachability hypothesis, when we were talking about information processing. So side by side, we were talking about how to teach the language. However, there is still more focus needed on the issues that the teachers face in their classrooms. So teaching is an art. Yes, it is a science and it is an art. We say it is both because it involves not just the mind, it involves the self. It is again an investment of self. It needs as much emotional investment as it needs your intellectual investment. There is no single best method. If you were to ask, what have we learned? What is the best method to teach my students? There is no single best method. There is no single method, even if you identify one method, that will work with all your students in all the years that are coming at all the levels. So it really depends on what context you are teaching in, how large your classrooms are, who are your learners, what is the number of students in your classroom, what is the level of the learners. All you need to do is to have a reflective or critical mindset to understand how things can be different and what might be at work, what can explain the factors or the success or the failure of my students. So the teachers need to interpret the dynamics of their class. The SLA research, yes, it offers a rich variety of different types of concepts, different types of approaches of what possibly can be going on in your classes, and it somehow also allow the teachers to make pedagogical choices, to think about how would they like to introduce a grammatical form, for instance. It gives you a number of ways of doing that. It also tells you about the importance of recast, negative feedback, when can it be successful, when it cannot be successful. But in any case, you have to constantly try out and see if that thing works in your classroom or it does not work on your classroom. And maybe you can take it up as research yourself. So research on instructed SLA, they have tried to address teachers' issues. And then there is this concept of action research, in which they take up teachers as equal partners. And they researchers would like to know, work side by side with the teachers, and the teachers themselves also try to identify a problem in their classroom. They try to find out which theory explains it best. They make an intervention, and then they see what is the impact of that intervention. However, it is definitely the researchers' responsibility to make their findings more comprehensible and less complex for the teachers in the schools.